Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Millie and I love eyeshadows. I love trying out eyeshadows, testing different formulas, especially indie brands and really anything that is shiny, sparkly, and shifty. And today I'm going to be doing my July eyeshadow palette ranking. So I'm going to be telling you all about the eyeshadow palettes that I tried in the month of July, and we actually have quite a few eyeshadow palettes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 somehow. And I do the monthly palette ranking no matter the amount of eyeshadow palettes that I tried, so it may fluctuate. Sometimes it might be 10 palettes, sometimes it might be 3 palettes, and I rank those regardless of the amount. And I'm going to be leaving all dedicated videos that I've done in the past month on these palettes down in the description box in case you're interested in some more detailed thoughts as well as some looks. So let's get right into it. In the 7th place is going to be the Izamaya Industrial Color Pigment palette. I know. Like, I really enjoy this palette. Okay, well, also, forgot to say, none of these palettes are bad. It's really just gonna come down to personal preference, price point, do I feel like they're worth it, etc, etc. Again, none of these palettes are bad by any means. I just have to rank them, and I think the ranking would really depend on the day. This is how I'm ranking them in the moment. And the reason that this palette is coming in this place is really because it is just really expensive. I do like it. I think it's a really interesting palette. I do think this will appeal to a lot of people who might not quite want to dip their toes into indie, but they want some special shadows that are a little bit more high end. And also, I didn't even realize, but apparently each collection from Izamaya is going to be different and limited edition, which I actually think is really interesting, and I'm really curious to see how that's going to pan out over the next couple of years. But anyways, let's talk about the palette. Something that I really think is great about this palette is you can just layer and layer and layer and layer, and it will not look thick or like flaky and chunky and accentuate skin texture, which I really feel like is the appeal of a lot of luxury brand eyeshadows, is they're really meant to just work on all types of lids. My biggest gripe with this palette is the fact that there are two kind of like, they're basically like a cream to powder black eyeshadow, matte eyeshadow, and that is this shade and this shade, and this one has a little bit of a sheen to it, but honestly, like, you can't even see it. You would have to keep layering and layering and layering to really see it, and I just feel like for $115 it is quite a bit of a waste. Like, this could have been another special shadow, or it could have been like a brown instead to make it even more versatile. So that's really why this one is ranking this low, is because I don't feel like this palette is quite worth $115 because of that. Coming in number 6 is the Nearly Natural palette from Glam and Cosmetics. This palette was gifted to me, and I did do, I believe, 3 looks or 2 looks with this palette, and the only reason it is ranking in number 6 is because it is a more neutral palette. I really love it. I think it's a really great variety of neutral tones. So I do think that you're not going to be getting like a lot of the same kinds of looks like you would with just like an all brown different tone eyeshadow palette. I really love that there's this like a grungy olive tone green in here. The shimmers are so beautiful. They do feel like a different formula for Glam and Cosmetics. This one right here, Nearly Natural, is very sparkly. It actually kind of reminds me of the shades from the Uma Beauty palette. Like, some of these feel a little bit kind of almost similar to that. I should actually totally compare those because now I'm curious, but this one definitely will need some sort of a tacky primer. So I really enjoy this palette. I think this is a beautiful neutral palette. So in 5th place is the newly redone Bunnies palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. I did also receive this palette in PR. I have a dedicated video. I really had a lot of fun with it. I love that we have the columns and we have the kind of the matching shimmer shades to the matte. I do believe that they tweaked all of the matte eyeshadow tones and colors as well as the shimmers except for one. I think there's one shadow, I think it was maybe Golden Egg, that they left the same shade. The shimmers are a new formula as well. I did have some slight just like concern for hard panning in some of the shades, but overall they're really fun to play and fun to pair with these matte eyeshadows, and I think this is just an overall great release from Unearthly Cosmetics to just add a little bit of brightness into their eyeshadow palette lineup. Next up is the, which is, what is this, 4th place is the Lethal Cosmetics 1-Up eyeshadow palette. Oh my god, this is so fun. This is the first time that they've done something like this as far as I know. That is kind of like a cutout. Usually not a huge fan of that, but it is so slim and so small that it really doesn't bother me. And so we have a top row of all matte eyeshadows and then kind of matching matching shimmer shades, again, kind of similarly to the Unearthly palette, which I think is really nice. There's some really super sparkly shadows like High Score and Bonus, and then some that are a little bit more satin-like, but still beautiful and smooth and shiny. And there is some depth in here. I had just a little bit of trouble with some of the mattes, just kind of not really wanting to blend together. So I would probably go in with a lighter shade and then a darker shade versus going in with a darker shade and then the lighter shade, but other than that, I had a really great time with this palette. And also, some of these shades are neons, and they were really nice for neons. Neons can be really hard to work with, and I felt like these were really nice. So I believe that the neons are Combo, Insert Coin, and maybe even 8-Bit. Coming in hot in third place is the new Nomad palette. I also did receive this palette in PR, and oh my goodness, when I saw the color story, I actually gasped because I think this is such a beautiful and unique color story. I love that we have lighter mattes at the top, darker mattes on the bottom, shimmers in the center, and I absolutely love some of the tones in here. There's a little bit of variation in the types of shimmer shadows that are in here, so some satin shades, some really sparkly shades that are a little bit more like a topper, and I just had such a great time creating with this palette. Every time I look at it, I feel super inspired. Love the tones in here. It gives me major Bridgerton vibes. Like, I really feel like this is what I was expecting from Pat McGrath. So that's why this one is in third place. I really think that this is one of my favorite palettes from Nomad Cosmetics so far, and I have quite a few palettes from there. And in second place is the new Blend Bunny Cosmetics Primal palette. Yes, I know we've got another rainbow palette, but listen, these tones, I love these tones. I love having a variety of different matte eyeshadow tones. So I know I'm gonna get lots of use out of this palette, just like my other Blend Bunny palettes. Personally, I do wish that we had more shadows versus the larger pans of the black and matte white. The shimmers are beautiful. They're really smooth, but I do have wear time issues. So the star of the show are definitely the mattes in here. And then in the first place, I don't know if you're gonna remember this palette because I think I used this like the very beginning of July, and that is the All I Ever Wanted palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the volume 2 palette. I do have a dedicated video up with this palette. I also have swatch comparisons between this palette, the volume 1 palette, as well as Sugar Drizzle and the other Unearthly Cosmetics palettes and ItsBel. So if you are curious to see comparisons, definitely check that video out. I will link it down in the description box. This palette is on the expensive side. You can get a discount on it if you use a coupon code, but I do think that this is kind of one of those eyeshadow palettes that might be just like a one-all be-all if you don't want to buy single eyeshadows, but you want some more special shadows, and you also don't want to pay $20 per eyeshadow pan, keeping in mind that these are smaller pans, but either way, like, who is really panning eyeshadows these days anyway? So I feel like this is a really good value if you really break it down. It's probably around, like, I think it was like $4 or $5 per eyeshadow, and you have a really great variety of purples, blues, some neutral shadows, some yellows and greens. Some are toppers, some are regular shimmers that have like full opacity. There's also like a black base multi-chrome down here. So overall, I just really enjoy this palette, and I think I would definitely be pairing this one with the Primal palette, as well as all the other Unearthly Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes that I have that have matte eyeshadows. Also stay tuned because I will be eventually featuring the volume 1 palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. So that's all for my July palette ranking. Let me know in the comments below if you were surprised in any of these, and of course make sure you check out the description box if you want to see dedicated videos on any of these eyeshadow palettes. And I have lots and lots of tutorials with other indie brands, lots of multi-chrome content operating my channel that you can keep watching, and I'll put them up on the screen in case you're interested. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.